Welcome to the final match that I will be casting for CCC 2020 League of Legends Tournament. We are in the third first place match. The final match will be between Team Pason on the blue team and Team Shareworks. Before you get deja vu, this is another team from Shareworks. They have 10 players. These guys will be playing for third first place in the final game. The winner of this will secure third place in the CCC 2020 League of Legends Tournament, and the loser of this game will go away with fourth place. The elos of the players are as thus, and we should be heading into Champion Select in short notice here. As both teams are giving the ready check for the final time of this year's CCC tournament. I must say it has been a blast, but we can wait for the sentimentalities later. It is time for the draft to begin. Darius is the first ban, one of an oppressive top laner here. That's definitely the bane of many players' existence. And now Team Shareworks, what will they respond with? They will still be trying to look to pinch the comfort picks away. Things like Galio, Sion, Caitlyn, Ezreal, these are all very safe comfort bans for them. But which one will they choose to take away? Or will they just pinch the jungle pool instead? They will be indeed, and they will be banning away the Lee Sin. I believe it's a character that's almost nearing 100% ban rate in this tournament. I've yet to see anybody play him, if I'm not mistaken, but he's certainly graced the ban list in almost every game so far. The last game being no exception here. Wukong is another top lane, so far Team Pason banning very top-centric champions. Well, what will Team Shareworks go with next? Kassadin is the ban. It's definitely the late game Terra House. They say that they don't want to see that happen, and it's gonna be the Malzahar response. While Malzahar is not certainly not the strongest champion in the game or a meta champion by any means, his existence shuts down so many of the super snowbally late game champions, things like Vladimir, Fiddlesticks, Kassadin, which is banned. But he is so good at shutting down these extreme late game powerhouses, and he has been banned. Tells me that unless this is a comfort pick, blue team here, they are looking to pick some of those champions perhaps. And they're very afraid of the answer in the Malzahar. So we are going to be heading into the picks as Ezreal being the last ban. Although despite the presence of Ezreal, it is a champion that Team Pason has yet to pick up today. Sion top is of course the standard first pick here for the team, and they are going to be matched up against Misfortune, a very brutally efficient team fighting AD carry. And it might be followed up with a support pick. It does appear to be one, and the support of choice is going to be, drumroll please, Morgana or Leona, light or darkness. It is the darkness with the Morgana. The 3-second binding is very potent at securing kills, and the Rek'Sai coming out. This pick has been banned over and over, and this is actually the first time we'll get to see it in action, followed up by a Malphite engage. Once again, very heavy front lines coming out from Team Pason. What will the response from Shareworks be? Is it actually a Volibear? Is it actually the Volibear jungle? It does appear like it is. The timer's running out. They're gonna lock it in. It is gonna be the Volibear, and now we're heading into the second round of bans. Now both teams had to assess. Team Shareworks should be aware that Pason has yet to pick their bottom lane, and Pason should be aware that Team Shareworks has yet to pick their top and middle. So these bans should be focused towards solo lane for one side and bottom lane for the other. What will they be banning here? The Sivir. Yes, a very potent team fight, and it's actually a fantastic pick into this team comp as well. So many BP front lines that could appreciate the speed going to the fight. Veigar being the next pinch here from Pason, trying to restrict the middle lane pool from dissuading them from picking any zone control-y mage, just to allow the front line to have more room to be mobile, and another utility AD carry banned out in the Ashe. And the final answer is going to be the Fizz. So 2 bot lane bans and 2 mid lane bans. The pool will be further restricted here. The picks are continuing. There's going to be Ahri mid. A very potent mid lane. The Charm is such an amazing pick tool in her kit, and it's really the defining skill of the Ahri, just the ability to move someone out of position, and it's one of the strongest pick tools you can ever get. Spirit Rush with Charm makes her a very potent mobile pick character to play as. The Vayne? No, that's gotta be trolling. There's no way. Aphelios will be interesting. I did mention in the last game's cast, with a really bulky frontliner, I do appreciate champions like Kai'Sa, champions like Aphelios and Sivir. People who can go in with your frontline because your team cannot afford you PO with these kinds of champions. And the final pick for Team Pason is going to be the Thresh support. And the opponent will now have to pick their top laner or their jungler, assuming the Volibear is a flex. And the final pick to round off Team Shareworks' draft is going to be Urgot? Oh, that can be scary. It is going to be Urgot. I really do like that pick. I think Urgot is a fantastic answer into the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa is a decently short range carry that requires her to be getting into somebody's face thanks to Killer Instinct, Akathian Rain. These abilities, along with Supercharge, allow her to fight up close and personal and output a lot of damage. And Urgot plays very well against that kind of playstyle, where he's a really beefy tank that also hurts a lot because his shotguns does health damage, percent health damage I mean. And he can execute someone from below a quarter health. With a playstyle like that, he really wants to be as close to targets as possible, so he could just do a quick circle around them and shotgun them 6 times for maximum damage. And for a short range carry like Kai'Sa, and I'll even add Aphelios to this list, Urgot shines against those kinds of carries because once they get in, they are essentially within his clutches. Urgot's biggest trouble has always been getting to the back, but if you have an AD carry that just walks into you to do damage, and if you're beefy enough to withstand Kai'Sa's plasma stacks being applied, you can definitely assert yourself as a very massive threat. Alright, 2 minutes and 40 seconds out, we will be heading into the final game of CCC 2020. And I must say, it's been a pleasure casting these games. I saw some very high level plays. I saw some really fun plays. And in general, I am very impressed by the team's cohesion overall, and it's a refreshing change of pace from casting the normal dual queue games where a lot more individual plays shine out above all else. There are some really good early map movements here, and so a lot of these teams have demonstrated that, in fact, they are really good threats at a decently high level here in this tournament setting. And it's been a pleasure to watch. Even the one-sided stomps have been very fun to cast as well, just because when the game gets one-sided, it really becomes a spectacle to behold, just how amazingly efficient a team can be. A lot of these games have closed out in the early 20-something minute mark with a Baron buff. It's not something you see every day. Even the most stompy games in solo queue rarely close games at that rate, assuming the enemy doesn't just outright surrender. Alright, 90 seconds out. We will be getting into the third fourth place match. This is for all the marbles that the first, second place didn't take yet. I do like the draft for red team a lot. I think I can't get over that last pick, Urgot. I think it is such an intelligent pick into what Team Pason is trying to do. It just straight up shuts down basically their entire game plan. And shutting down the Urgot has to be priority number 1 here for Team Pason. If that Urgot gets rolling, this game is over. That will not be a killable threat. And you do need to get past him to access the backline. The Misfortune will have a very comfortable game, no matter how behind or ahead she is, as long as this Urgot gets rolling, as long as the Volibear gets rolling. They need to facilitate these early plays, make really aggressive movements, and actually clinch the game before Team Pason can get a chance to breathe. Now the game front for Team Pason is similar. They need to accelerate the game. They need to play the game so fast that the Urgot just doesn't have time to scale up. Deny him the chance to reach 3 items. Deny him the chance to get his boost. Deny him the chance to get Black Cleaver into Frozen Mallet. Because once he has those items, he will become a terrifying threat for them to contend with. And this is not necessarily a team that is equipped to handle a character like that. All of these are melee characters, except for the Kai'Sa and Thresh. And Kai'Sa needs to get into a fight anyway. Urgot in the middle gets a fear off, and the team fight is won. Let us head into the final game. The final, well, not the grand finals, but the 3rd, 4th place match here between Team Pason and Team Shareworks. We are going to be heading into the loading screen. The teams are already 3 minutes into this game, but we will be watching the start of it unfold. It's also an electrocute Urgot. Now that is something that I'm intrigued by. I don't necessarily think that is the best rune on Urgot. Conqueror is for sure the better pick here. Electrocute takes too long, and it doesn't do that much damage compared to the straight up sustained DPS that Urgot can output. So it makes more sense to go Conqueror, because I'm pretty sure you just do more damage as Conqueror, thanks to the fact that Purge will stack up and shoot it so fast. Electrocute can do some burst tricks, but Urgot doesn't play that kind of playstyle. He doesn't necessarily play like a burst carry. He plays more along the lines of a sustained wall. It's like a brick wall with like several mounted cannons on top. And for a fight like that, and there's an army charging down at you, you're really whittling down the enemy as they come in, as opposed to straight up eviscerating the entire group. You need to let the enemies bash themselves into your wall until they run out of resources, and then your team just mops up the fight from there. Alright, we're 94% into the loading screen, getting into the game very soon here. Volibear 2 has the Prestige attack as their keystone. This is the standard keystone for Volibear now. It used to be Conqueror or Patrocol ago, but with the most recent Volibear changes, he's definitely found his own niche as kind of a hyper aggro character that can set up a lot of early plays thanks to the turret disable, and he just outputs so much burst. He can apply Prestige attack very easily as well. So he just jumps in, disables a tower, and then claw summons 3 times to land a huge burst of damage. And more often than not, that gets you some pretty guaranteed early game kills. The damage from that is not to be underestimated. What else we got here? Miss Fortune with the Fleet Footwork. Already has the Electrocute. These are pretty standard. The Fleet Footwork, I don't play Miss Fortune. I'm not certain if that's the standard. I would have thought it was Prestige attack. Rek'Sai does have the Conqueror, which is the standard one. That skin is actually, I've never seen that skin before. When I glanced up, I saw that I was looking at Black Frost Anivia. That's actually a pretty cool skin, the splash art for it. Oh, I kind of like it. But Black Frost Anivia, that's a really good skin. I like that one a lot. Thresh does have the Aftershock over the Guardian, so it's a less protective pick. But once he lands a hook, he can actually go in pretty safely thanks to the massive defensive steroids he will acquire. And the rest are just pretty standard choices so far. While we're still sitting on the loading screen, can I click on these guys? Yeah, I can. Click, 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 click. Wow, there's a lot of Ari games here, huh? A ton of mastery points. Oh, a ton of mastery points here. That's a lot of Rek'Sai games. Rek'Sai is definitely a really strong character. I remember on her first release, where her old ultimate was Void Rush and it just gets you to any of the tunnels you dug. That was broken. It gave her so much map control. This current iteration of Rek'Sai definitely doesn't build as tanky as the previous one, but she makes up for it with a ton more damage in her kit. I used to play Rek'Sai a lot back when her ultimate was the transport yourself to a tunnel. Those were the days. I stopped playing Rek'Sai ever since, but I have been at her mercy quite a few times. Alright, let's get into the game. 5 seconds out.
Souls may forget they've ever lived. Obsession begins when they forget they've died.
Yes, this is in fact the in the middle of the Spirit Blossom event, so we do get the Ari voiceover for the Spirit Blossoms. at the start of this game, just as a neat little Easter egg. I used to be really into those things, which is why... Oh, the pause. Ah, there we go. The pause at the start of the game. That might account for the long loading time, actually. Somebody did disconnect from the game. But we will be unpausing soon, as it appears from the chat. Yeah, there was a disconnection. And the unpausing is... They're claiming the unpausing is starting, but my spectate is still paused. Why is my spectate still paused? Oh, ready, go, go. There we go. The game will now be resumed. And let's rearrange the scoreboard while we're at it, shall we? Jungler, AD carry. But yeah, I do really like the Easter eggs and the voice lines. This is why in my game configs I have everything turned to near zero, except for game sound effects, because I need audio cues to play the game, and voice lines. I like to hear voice lines. There's some lore implication. I am a lore guy. Oh no, the Kai'Sa, she's want to walk up too far? Okay. Blowing the Kai'Sa's flash very early on, but she at least saves her life. And finally, in the final game of CCC 2020, we see a genuine invade that yields fruit, and Team Shareworks jumps out ahead, claiming the Kai'Sa's flash. So that is going to be a very early lane advantage here. And because it's down for 5 minutes, Volibear is for sure aware of that, and he's going to probably look to punish this. Go for some early play spot side with a flashless Kai'Sa. The game will be beginning. Still pretty standard here. The Kai'Sa, Rek'Sai rather, is going to be starting topside. Now we do have the lane phase coming in. Now Urgot's laning phase is quite weak. However, Sion is also a character that's not necessarily able to punish a weak laner like Urgot. But neither side should be massively pressured in. This should be a pretty even laning phase topside, in which case it does actually favor the Urgot. I do like an Urgot's teamfight way more than Sion's. Oh, Black Dark Binding does come out early. It's going to land on the Thresh, but nothing else happens here. Kai'Sa jumps out to a very early CS lead. And so far, these two teams do appear to be evenly matched in the very early game. Nope. Malphite's going in for an aggressive trade, but the Ahri Charm thankfully lands on the minion for his sake. He doesn't get charmed. If he got charmed by the Ahri, he would have certainly been dead. Oh, but he has to be out. That Word with Deception damage hurts. If another charm lands, then that is going to certainly be a very early Ahri solo kill for the Volibear. He's going in for a super early invade here. What is happening down here? He might be in trouble. The flash away, but the Rek'Sai flash over the wall. The unburrows. The Ahri Warp will get the kill regardless, but first blood going over to the Rek'Sai. Kai'Sa has no flash or chase, but the Thresh certainly does. Flash hook will not connect. Ahri walks away without first blood, but with a blue buff, and that is going to be a huge boon for her in the early laning phase. And she does recall 300 gold in her pockets with a blue buff. She's gonna try to pick up something nice for herself. She does buy the boost of speed and sells it, undoes it rather, and gets it home instead. And then she's gonna head back to lane. That was a 1-for-1 trade, and I think the biggest loser coming out of it was indeed the Volibear. Not only did he not get anything, but he also lost his blue buff. The Rek'Sai, of course, is also now going about her clear buffless, except for the red buff that she will pick now. But at least she walked away with his first blood, and you can see that she has completed Skirmisher's Saber, whereas Volibear is still very much sitting on the Talisman. But hold that thought, a gank is coming down for the boss side. The Misfortune blows both her summoners, gets help, but here comes the Kai'Sa. She has no flash, but she sure as hell has an unburrow going down onto the Morgana. One more hit will finish it, but they can't land it. The minions are walking up as well. Waste Seeker snipe is not possible, and Morgana and Misfortune, after losing both their summoner spells, will make it out. Morgana's actually staying here. She's daring the Thresh to make a tower dive happen. The hook will not hit. Kai'Sa will be charmed up. No, not Kai'Sa, Rek'Sai rather, sorry. I confuse their names because 2-syllable void names, they all sound the same to me. Kai'Sa does go for a mid gank, but the charm will stop it dead in his tracks. But there's the Malphite. He walks up too far, and the charm combo kills him off there. Ahri gets a solo kill. She jumps out very far ahead early on to a 2-kill lead. And what is this? She might now be looking for Roma bot lane. Gonna clear out the vision in the bot river to try to get some vision down. Volibear heading bot side as well, and the Rek'Sai walking into the red team's jungle, trying to pilfer something for herself. She is going to be found out here. The Dark Binding does land. She gets punished for her overextension and killed off. Ahri gets her 3rd kill of the game. And now Team Shareworks going up to a very early lead. Rek'Sai going for that invade with no lane priority definitely cost her big time. A very arrogant play. And it does end with her getting killed by the red team members. And now, with no jungler, this is a very natural transition into killing off the dragon. And with 4-man strong, no one from Team Pason can approach this. Red team will now look for a reset, and now licking their wounds, Team Pason goes back to the jungle. It's now up to them to make something happen here. Oh, the Urgot, he doesn't have the purge up, but he is gonna bring the Sion dangerously low. Remember, against an Urgot, you only really have 3/4 of your health bar ready at all times. And the Sion is actually falling very close to the execute range. One more combo and that would certainly be a very dead Sion. Charging Decimating Smash might just get you signed up for a ticket into the grinder. Unless the Urgot, he hits the hook, and there is the grab hole. The Urgot will eat the Sion alive, and the Sion just gets to watch his minion wave, punching at it to no avail. He will be solo killed in the top lane. Good play by the Urgot, identifying that Sion is in kill range and committing for that play, landing the Fear Beyond Death, getting that execution, and he will walk away with that solo kill. 4-1 now is the kill score. Team Shareworks jumping to a very, very far lead early on. In terms of kills, that is. Gold lead wise, still very much even. This is not a really bad goalie, and really most of it is coming from the bot lane. The Kai'Sa out farming the Misfortune handily. It's a Warhammer against nothing on Kai'Sa, and the Kai'Sa is still winning the lane. The Rek'Sai might be caught out here. The Lantern gets thrown a little bit short, but here comes the Dark Binding. It will land onto the Thresh, but the Thresh will give himself Aftershock to get some tankiness. It's not going to be enough. He is the martyr. He gets left behind to die. Team Shareworks pick up their 5th kill here in the early game. A lot of Pason's early movements just are not working for them in this game. 7.5 minutes in, so far all they've done is just throw bodies behind as they've been sent on the retreat. And a lot of these plays are actually coming out from the Ahri. Her CS numbers don't really speak for herself, but she has definitely made some very good early map movements so far. But can they transfer that into more and more leads? Or will the lack of CS eventually catch up to her? Sion will pop the unstoppable charge to get away. Fear Beyond Death is actually up again, so using that charge does get him out of danger, safe and sound. The Thresh Hook will not connect onto anybody. Kai'Sa has a tier. She has the Pickaxe. She's working on the Monomune. This is the standard tier build for the Kai'Sa. Well, actually, I'm not sure how standard it is anymore, but it's been a hot minute since I played Kai'Sa. But she will actually use the... She will actually go for the Monomune build. The Monomune build on Kai'Sa is a lot slower than many of her other builds, but it does result in a lot more late game power. Once you pick that, you realize that, oh, I have a comfy laning phase. I can justify building this and getting away with it, and just slowly stacking it up over the course of the game. Kai'Sa has no real spammy spells to charge up the tier. She really only has Monomune auto attack. You gain some mana whenever you auto attack with Monomune, but it makes for a very slow stack. Compared to the other tier stackers in the game, like Ezreal for example, she will stack a tier like twice as slow. It is brutal how slow it is, but it does ultimately reward her with quite possibly one of the best damage items you could buy on that champion. And really, it's still up to the Kai'Sa to make something happen. The Ahri is roaming over. Oh, she finds the red buff, but the Kai'Sa secures it. The charm will not land. The unburrow is not enough. The Volibear pops his ultimate, and Kai'Sa will flash over the wall. She is out safe and sound. The hook does not connect onto the Morgana, but the follows sure as hell very close. Multiple red team members in blue team's jungle, and they're gonna start a fight with the Thresh. He's gonna be the first to kill, but Killer Instinct from the Kai'Sa gets herself in. The Rek'Sai will start fighting onto the Ahri. The Ahri is falling low. She needs to try to get out, but the Kai'Sa has been blocked off. She can't get in. The Misfortune is shooting her, but the Volibear, he might be running out of speed. They can't catch her. The bite will finish her off. That is going to be a 3-for-2 trade overall in favor of Team Shareworks here. They win a fight in blue team's own jungle, but critically, they dropped Ahri's shutdown streak. So gold-wise, it's really actually the same amount of gold going over to both teams. Ahri did lose her streak, and in fact, she's building Oblivion Orb first? I'm not sure if I like that. I think you need a solid damage item first to back up before you get any sort of penetration item. Oblivion Orb is very efficient as a M-Pen item, but it's not very efficient at all for raw damage. I think something like Ludens or Lost Chapter to get you through the laning phase because you have mana problems would serve them much better. Misfortune will flash to get away from the death sentence. It was off camera, but she did flash indeed. That Thresh hit. The Thresh would have definitely hit his hook had she not have flashed. And Kai'Sa would have followed up for the kill. And there it is. Kai'Sa picks on Monomune. She is still content on stacking it up, although she must accept that while it is being stacked up, she is losing a lot of fighting power. In top lane, Urgot, he's still quietly scaling up here. He's got Tabites finished. It's a very early tier 2 boost. He rushed that first to try to get better positions on the lane. And the Scion, he's still reading. He wants to finish Sunfires first. But it's currently not happening for him. There it is. He lands the Decimating Smash. But the Urgot, he's more than happy to take that fight. Even if Scion has the double buffs, he cannot win that. Scion is still a level behind the Urgot just because Urgot farms better. And he was in lane a little bit more. Scion did go to help out with the bot lane fight. 12 minutes in. Pason is 2,000 gold behind, but it doesn't matter. They finally get one back. They make a good map play. Volibear is still topside, which means this dragon cannot possibly be contested. Now, if I was the Team Shareworks jungler right now, I'd just start the Herald. And in fact, that is going to be their call. They're going to bring Ahri over to start it as well. But surely, Team Pason is aware of this movement. They saw the Ahri leave the lane, and now they're setting everybody up to contest the river. But can they make this happen here? The Ahri does leave the pit. Volibear's doing this on top of a scuttle. All of their movements are no. Ahri is still on the side. They spot her out. Prey Seeker will miss. But the Kai'Sa is still here. They've committed every member to fight for this Herald, and goddamn do they want it. They do secure it. Volibear runs in, but a little bit too late. No miracle steal possible. And Pason, they get 2 global objectives in very quick notice. Off 1 pickoff on the Misfortune. A very efficient play for them. Flash forward by the Thresh, but the Unstoppable Force does turn it around onto the Ahri. She has to Spirit Arch away. The Ignite is enough to burn the Thresh down slowly. They do get that 1 kill. Double up does land. Charm does not. Malphite would have certainly been dead if it did. But the Orb of Deception on the Foxfire, it was enough. Ahri picks up a double kill. Malphite oversteps, and that is going to cost him dearly. And Kai'Sa, despite her CS lead, has yet to pick up a kill. Has yet to actually make herself useful in these team fights. She's gone back to pick up additional daggers, but she needs a lot more than that. She needs attack damage. Which is why you buy the pickaxe component first of your Rage Blade, because it will get you to your Q evolve. It will get you to evolve the Cathian Rain. And that is going to be a huge power boost for the Kai'Sa in these team fights. The Thresh does get bound up. There's a lot of CC. Merc Treads are pretty much mandatory for this game for all members of Team Pason. Maybe even the Kai'Sa. No, she does need the Berserkers to hit the attack speed breakpoint. But Merc Treads is non-negotiable this game thanks to the binding, the charm, the stuns, and everything. These are not pick-off abilities that you can afford to let them hit you. And the Kai'Sa does get bound up. The Polar Bear is smacking her. The stun does land, but the hook connects. Will they go for this kill? Yes, they will. They nuke down the Polar Bear even during his ultimate. The Morgana will go for the Soul Shackles, but it's not enough. It doesn't land the stun, and she's overstepped. The Malphite will kill her off. The binding is not enough time to kill him under the tower either. Pason walks away with a 2-pick lead, and there is the Herald response. It's going to get dropped. It's going to force red team to respawn. Ahri will try to go ahead and clear the eye. They do get it, but no plays lost. The plays have gone away. That is a huge chunk of damage onto the middle lane turret. Overall, a very inefficient Herald. Team Shareworks was able to dispel it in time. But 15 minutes in, this is a decently even game. Still only a 2,000 deficit coming out from Team Pason. The Ahri first items Morelos. Oh! Okay. I have gone on record complaining about this so many times. Who cares? I'll do it again. Don't do that! Do not get Morelos first. Even if your enemy is like Vladimir, Mundo, Soraka, Yumi, whatever. I would never get that first. At least get your last chapter. At least get some power on the board. But hold that thought. Here's a flash bot. Killer Instinct comes in for the misfortune. There is no hope for her. Not even through the ignite. She gets killed off. The plasma detonation is there. And the Kai'Sa might just help herself to another. The stopwatch buys her just a little bit of time. But double kill going over to the Kai'Sa. She gets on the board thanks to a good roam here. But in the mid lane, the Malphite does get killed off by the Ahri yet again. However, doesn't save her from my rant. Oblivion Orb is a very efficient item. Magic Pen and AP and health for about 1600 gold is a great deal. Probably not so much when it's your first item, when you do need other items like Lost Chapter or Ludens to back up the damage and the penetration you're getting. Upgrading it to Morelos is very gold inefficient. You are paying essentially 1500 extra gold, was it? For just a little bit more AP, where it's actually a very poor upgrade for your buck. You get it only if healing is a really excessive problem and you need it fast. Healing is not an excessive problem for Team Pason. You cannot possibly justify that either. Oh, the Polar Bear! He turns it around with the ultimate. The Rek'Sai couldn't finish the damage in time. The Malphite, he doesn't have his ultimate, but the Kai'Sa has a right to even the score. They do kill off the Polar Bear, and they're charging forward. No fear. The Ahri gets locked up. Does he have the Spirit Rush? No, she does not. She might be killed off here. The stopwatch in the middle of blue team with the bullet time. She will actually walk away. The Kai'Sa cannot get in place in time. The Thresh and the Scion will both die. Zombie mode is not enough. Kai'Sa cannot finish that kill. Bullet time saves the Ahri's life. The Kai'Sa cannot stand to tank that, and the Ahri will just walk away safe and sound. She did break her stopwatch, but oh boy, it saved her from giving over such a huge bounty over to blue team. Inferno Drake is alive, and with so many members of Red Team, with Team Pason dead, they are not in place to contest this. They will not make it to the pit in time. They're still gonna try, but this is gonna be a very scary entrance in. Their shining grace is that there's no bullet time to fight with, and there's no Polar Bear ultimate. However, Ahri does have the Spirit Rush, and that's going to make her very annoying to fight in this upcoming team fight. Urgot has a teleport as well. He can commit it at any time to come into the fight. Can they do it here though? The Dark Binding does go out onto the Rek'Sai. The charm and the orb, it lands on the Thresh, and there is the lantern. It goes out to absolutely no one, but here comes the unstoppable force. Ahri no longer has stopwatch. There is a shutdown onto her. The Ahri is out of the fight, but the Urgot is in, and that means Red Team has the position over the dragon, and Team Pason has to call this off. The purge goes out onto the dragon, but the re-engage is happening. The misfortune gets picked off alone in the back. Killer Instinct comes in. The AD carry has been melted. Now it's just the Urgot. He's purging the dragon. He's not purging the blue team, and they finally rest position back onto the fight, but the Dark Binding does land. Fear Beyond Death connects onto the Scion. The meat grinder is here. They grind up the Scion, fearing up the Malphite. He might be the next to go. The zombie mode is punching Morgana in the back. Nobody can help out, and the Malphite might be next to go, but the plasma is detonating onto the Urgot. He will get killed off. The Polar Bear is the next. It's just the Rek'Sai. It's just the Kai'Sa. He dunks onto them. So much AoE damage, and he's going to get that double kill. He finishes off blue team and mops them up, winning a team fight for red team at the tail end of it, and they will reward themselves with a dragon and additional gold in their pockets. Bring this game. Honestly, the gold lead actually closed, but that double kill prevented Team Shareworks from actually falling behind in gold and losing the dragon. Such a massive play by the Volibear at the tail end of that fight. Ari going to help herself to the blue buff. She was shut down. She gave up her bounty. She gave up her bounty to the Kaisa. Although Kaisa died and although Pason lost that team fight, I don't think it's the worst thing possible because Kaisa did pick up a lot of gold and she finished some very high value items. She's got her E supercharge. She's got her Icathian Rain. Both of those abilities have been upgraded, and now she's working on Nashor's Tooth. With Nashor's Tooth, she'll be able to upgrade Waste Seeker as well. And that is going to make her a very potent threat. And the Ari, time is actually running out on her. She needs more premium damage items. Because right now, Zaya's and Morello's, neither of which do that much damage compared to other AP items on the board that you can get. And there's the Volibear. He's running up towards the Sion. He might have nowhere to go. And he's just going to be killed off. Fear Beyond Death drags him into the grinder for a third time. Oh, this Urgot is like a meat processor, but he's only been processing undead meat this whole game. Team Shareworks is 10 kills ahead. But unfortunately, the goal lead doesn't necessarily reflect that yet. They still need to make a lot more plays. They need to seize these objectives with the lead they have now. They could set up for Baron. They can now try to funnel Team Pason into a death machine. Kaisa's going back bot to farm. This should not stand for them right now with their lead. They should just look to take position around Baron. That is what they're doing now. The Kaisa, all she wants is some free time to farm, but this looks like she might be soon denied such an opportunity. Oh, the Ari, the charm, it will land, but the Rek'Sai, she can resist the damage very well, and she's actually going in, but right into the face of a Dark Binding. She realizes her mistake and flashes out. Spirit Rush is gonna come in. Ari claims the kill, and now the Malphite is being stranded as well. That's gonna be 2 bodies on the ground, unless that flash will save his life. Can it though? The Foxfire, the orb barely clips past him. The Thresh once again opts to be the martyr. The Kaisa has not moved to respond. She will push her wave in and fight against the misfortune here. But even that is going to be very quickly outnumbered as the Volibear running in hard. That will cause the Kaisa to back off. She needs more income. She needs more farm. But Shareworks, they're making the play so far. They're denying her the opportunity to farm up and get additional items. But they desperately need more items. Stinger comes out from the Kaisa. She is going to get some cooldown reduction off it. As well as some much needed attack speed. Time is actually running out for Team Pason here. Urgot is getting up there. He's got Death Dance ready. But nobody on Team Pason has healing reduction. Healing reduction is actually necessary now against the Death Dance. Urgot will sustain a lot. Actually, maybe not. He doesn't have Conqueror, huh? Then maybe you don't need healing reduction. Who knows? It's not every day that you fight an Urgot with no Conqueror. Or even press the attack at worst. A red tree Urgot. He is doing a lot of he's doing a lot of work. He's 5-1 and 3. He's got 2 items done. He's definitely a very strong character right now. I will say though, as a Lilia spammer, I'm so shocked that nobody in CCC has played Lilia so far. I feel like the new champion might just give them the what the heck is that factor. Could pull out a surprise win maybe. But there it is, the Scion once again going to be jumped on by the Polar Bear. It's going to be 2 bodies, unless the Rek'Sai can come in and assist. The game froze for a second there, but there's the Fear Beyond that's getting the fear. The Rek'Sai cannot come help, but there is the rest of Team Pason collapsing in now. The teleport is coming down from the Malphite as well. They're going to try to start this fight, but the Rek'Sai in the front line is slowly melting to the Urgot. He's healing so much. Death Dance is there. Kaisa's in the middle of it all. She cannot possibly survive. She's too close for comfort, and the red team will melt her alive. 4 bodies on the ground here for Team Shareworks. They will take the winning team fight, and because they won it so close to the Baron Pit, they're going to help themselves to the global objective, and the gold lead balloons to 8,000 ahead. Oh dear. It does seem like Team Shareworks they've taken the winning fight. And they are going to reward themselves in a big way. And the Urgot problem is coming true. They don't have an answer to him. Kai'Sa gets flipped back, Volibear jumps on her, and there's just no way out. No amount of supercharged invisibility can get you out of that mess. And there it is, Kai'Sa realizes the emergence of getting healing reduction and immediately picks up Executioner's Calling. But is it going to be enough? This Urgot is not going away anytime soon. Pason will respawn by sneaking away a dragon, but the gold lead, this gold lead, it's just gotten out of control so fast. And now time is running out more so than ever. 7-1-5 here for the Urgot. As soon as they put down one problem, another arises. They shut down the Ahri, but now they need to shut down a much beefier target. Not to mention, despite killing the Ahri, she's still strong. She's not out of the game by any means. She's 12-2. She can do whatever she wants to Pason. They cannot do a thing to respawn. 25 kills, 25 minutes in, is 12 kills to 28. And for the first time ever, the goal lead is starting to reflect the massive kill lead that Team Shareworks has built for themselves. And Ahri though, with the Morello's done, with Death Cap soon on the way, no Ludens, completely skipped, but it doesn't even seem to matter right now. She is going to get the Death Cap ready, and that is going to give her so much punching power. Even the Misfortune, that's essentially been pretty quiet all game long, she's got almost Infinity Edge complete. In fact, she will have it done on her next back, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, easily. And she's got the Reaver complete. She too is a pretty variable threat in a team fight. Just stand in the back and draw bullet time, and nobody on Team Pason can get to her. Just because the Volibear is such a potent threat. He is so ridiculously beefy. The tunnel is gonna come over. The Rek'Sai, there's Sion still pushing top. He's of no use in this team fight right now, but they need to make something happen. The Urgot is brazen. He's walking up to hit the tower, but nobody can contest. And there it is. Righteous Glory gets popped. The fight is coming down. The Malphite dies before Unstoppable Force can even connect. And that is going to be one body immediately. Sion is going to channel the teleport. He's coming into the fight, but the Ahri dashing into Pason's space. She is going to try to lock down the Thresh, and the Thresh is burning. He's getting away with his life, but just barely. And now Volibear on all fours. He's charging in again. The Baron minion. The push is coming in. There's so much minions and nobody on blue team can get in. The binding does land onto the Sion. And the charm will land as well. The Urgot going in for the disdain. It pulls the Sion back. That's the tank eviscerated. And they can still keep going here. But they might just opt to back off. Their minion wave looks a little bit thin. They will slowly make their exit away from the Pason base, and now they're going to turn their sights to punish mid lane. They can continue this push. Everyone's still decently healthy, but they will opt for a reset instead. Volibear is going to go back home. Ahri kills the Blast Cone as well. They're going to line their pockets with even more money. They just killed a tower. They just killed an inhib. They just killed 2 enemy champions. Now they're going to restock. The coffin is all but closed, and all that's remained is to nail it in. And nobody can bust out of it ever again. 12-30. 12,000 gold ahead. This gold lead has just been exponentially ballooned. Now Pason grabbing whatever remains of their jungle to try to gear themselves up for what could be the final team fight of CCC 2020 third fourth place match. It gets more and more specific as I keep talking. The buffs are coming in. The objectives are spawning. Will Team Shareworks wait out for the next set of objectives, or will they just straight up go for the jugular? It seems like their call is to wait until the Infernal Drake spawns, although this is not soul. They can secure the Drake, but they will not get the soul off it. They will instead look to push out. I do think that Team Shareworks is strong enough to just force the fight onto Pason and win it. They don't need to wait for objectives. The longer you wait, the more chances you inadvertently give to your enemy. And there it is. This might be an Urgot catch-up, but are they actually going to pounce for it? Rek'Sai is still trying to give chase. There is the knockout. The Kai'Sa is gonna kill her instinct in. Have they made the catch happen? Maybe not. The two tanks are shooting different targets though. Kai'Sa's walking in. She finally gets the shutdown. They kill off the Urgot, but it is gonna be enough. The rest of Shareworks have arrived, and Sion might be the first victim here. The Volibear, he's tanky. He's running in. The Malphite is teleporting here as well. He has the unstoppable force, but can he commit it onto anybody? The Plasma is detonated, and the backline might be in trouble. The Ahri gets eviscerated. The Morgana is next to go. Volibear is the only survivor, but everybody on Pason, except for the Sion, still alive and well, but the Black Soil will kill off the Malphite as well. It's going to be 4 for 2. Pason takes a winning team fight off a beautiful catch onto the Urgot. He oversteps a little bit too far, underestimating Rek'Sai's burrow speed and Kai'Sa's killer instinct, and he pays for it dearly. Pason's base is under siege by minions, but they want this dragon first. They're going to send 2 to deal with it, and now it's just a Rek'Sai soloing. Kai'Sa does go home to deal with the threat, but they somehow pull it. 12,000 go behind. They found a winning team fight in a huge way. And all of the shutdown gold have been claimed. They line their pockets. Kai'Sa is almost full build. One more item will do it. It is almost certainly Quicksilver Sash. These picks are game ending if they land on the Kai'Sa. She cannot afford to let that happen. She is going to go ahead and get additional money for her. How close is she to QSS? Oh, very far. Oh, jeez. She might not have the time to farm that much gold. That's 900 gold away. I wonder if she can. That's a lot more mini waves than just what is at bot right now. And during that time, Baron might as well be gone. I don't think Kai'Sa can reasonably get 900 gold in short notice. They are going to try to secure Baron Vision. They just won the fight. They're feeling it. Maybe they say, maybe we can do this again. But this is a very tough mountain to climb. That last team fight went amazingly for Team Pason just because they were able to kill the threat first. Before the team fight even begins, Shareworks picked the fight without their most powerful member. Or at least without their member that can answer everything Pason wants to do. But as long as this Urgot is sitting with the rest of Team Shareworks, I don't see how Pason can realistically win team fights. They need to go for another catch out on the guy. But he's learned his lesson. He's sticking with red team. They're trying to start Baron. They're pressuring the pit so hard and there's no vision. So blue team, they're just gonna give it up. They're just gonna lose the position here. Sion's gonna teleport back home. But why? You could just recall for the same effect, and there it is. The Baron started. They notice the Sion no longer has a teleport. This is a 5v4 fight. Urgot is going to come in to engage. Kai'Sa has been split from the pack, and yes, level first goes on to the back. They're going to try to nuke down the Ahri as fast as possible, but can they do it here? The Kai'Sa has been left to her own devices, and she's going to be killed off by the Volibear. They killed off the Ahri, but is it worth it? Everybody on blue team dished their carry, and now they might just pay for it. They need to try to kill the bear, but they can't. There's no damage. It's just a Rek'Sai. She needs to try to tunnel out. It's a 3-for-1 team fight. It might be a 4-for-1. The Guardian Angel might be going out now. The Unburrow to try to make a last stand, but this Valiant is not enough. That's 4 bodies on the ground here for Team Shareworks. And they may have done it. The Sion teleports back home as opposed to recalling, and that means Pason picks an unwinnable fight, especially after leaving their AD carry high and dry. She could not kill her instinct onto the Ahri. If she pulled that off, then maybe she could have found safe harbor. But the Volibear was just pushing her out further and further away from the rest of her team, and nobody was able to get back to protect her in time. That is going to give Team Shareworks their second Baron. And absurdly so, Soul is spawning in 2 minutes, but it's Soul for the team that you're not expecting. If Pason secures Infernal Soul, maybe they have a way back into this game. Maybe they will have a chance to win the team fight. But it's 33 minutes in. Team Shareworks, they know this is what Pason needs. This is their last hope. Can they shut it down here? Miss Fortune is going to go ahead and claim the red buff. She's actually quietly got quite a few powerful items for herself as well. And the Kai'Sa still yet to pick up that QSS. Income is so hard to come by when you have no map to play with. She is going to finally pick it up. A minute out until the Infernal Soul. This is the make or break team fight. Can Pason keep afloat in this game? Or will Shareworks drive that final nail into the coffin? They have the Baron. They can make decent split push threats happen. Urgot has the teleport. The jungler is topside. 45 seconds from the soul. This lane assignment is not correct here for Pason. They need to send their jungler down bot. And there is a Righteous Glory coming down for the Kai'Sa. She tries to grab the lantern. Oh, and she does get it at the last possible second. She had to flash out. And that is such a grievous blow. With no flash, this teamfight gets so much harder to fight. And Pason, they need to now defend their own bottom lane. The charm will land onto the Malphite. He gets bound up. The CC lands. He cannot ultimate. He will just die before doing anything else. Sion will charge into the fight but runs into the third debris. The fight does break out. Urgot comes back in. The Soul Shackle is coming out. It lands onto the back. The Kai'Sa pops QSS. She needs to try to get safe, but she cannot. The front line is melting. The back line is happening. The drag is there. It's just the Kai'Sa alive. The zombie is there and she cannot do anything to win this fight. The front line is just so beefy that she can't punch through this. There's no hope for her. The rest of the push is happening. This is the jugular. Kai'Sa can't do anything here. She gets clapped on top of her own nexus and the charm lands. The nuke, the ace, and that is the end of the game. GG well play gets called. Team Shareworks finish. Shareworks by Morgan Stanley takes 3rd place in CCC 2020 and Team Pason takes 4th place overall. Congratulations to all teams involved. That was a beautiful game to cast. It was definitely the closest game. Oh, hold on. Sorry. It was the closest game all day, and it was definitely the most entertaining. I do put a lot of value onto that Urgot pick. I think it was such a brilliant pick. It shuts down so much of what Team Pason attempted to do. And at the end of the day, that is going to conclude our coverage for CCC 2020 League of Legends. Thank you all for sticking with me. I hope you all had a great time, and I certainly did. It's been nothing short of a great pleasure to cast these games, and I'm so happy that the chance was given to me. Until next time, goodbye.